Hello there. Welcome to the very first Beercast. It's good to see you all here. I didn't expect actually this many people to show up just for the test. You could consider this a pilot broadcast, I guess. But one of the reasons that I actually put it up against the Pop-Pet show, which is going on right now, is because I don't want a whole lot of viewers tonight because I have no idea how well this is going to work out. I've still got to figure out what the heck I'm doing. There's so many things to look at and so many things for me. Because I'm mixing the show, I'm doing everything at the same time. And I'm just going to hope that I can do it all correctly and that I don't wind up screwing it all up. Which I probably will do. But I hope you don't mind. I'm just sitting here in my studio. Welcome to Ranting Griffin Studios. By the way, here in Colorado. Now, one of the things that today I'm going to be talking about this show, what it's about. I'm going to be talking about what I'm going to be doing here in the near future. Everything that, because there's been a lot of people ask me, hey, when are you going to start doing 2 cents again? Are you going to do any more rants ever in your life? Have you just gotten too old and too fat that you just can't do it anymore? And the answer is no. But I'm going to get to that. First of all, this show. This show has actually a purpose for all you guys who remember the Radio Free Potatoes that I used to do. I really enjoyed doing those, and it's kind of a combination of 2 different ideas. This idea started back near the beginning of the year, when I went and I did Kage's wine stream with him. And for everyone who says that, oh, well, Two's borrowing Kage's idea for the wine stream, you are absolutely incorrect. I have blatantly ripped it off. So let's just get that straight right away. Secondly, it was more of a kind of a combination. Like, I used to do the Radio Free Potatoes, and I would tell stories about my life, and I would bring up thoughts, ideas, inspirations, things that I was thinking of that I was hoping would inspire other people. And a lot of people seem to like that show. Well, this is basically going to be the video version of that, and it's going to be live. Because I found a purpose for it. And what I mean by that is I was doing the Radio Free Potatoes, and I was really enjoying that, but I really couldn't find a direction, a purpose for doing those shows. And so now I have a purpose. I've decided on a purpose for this show, and for the combination of Radio Free Potato and whatever, and I want to do it here because one night I was sitting up, and it was late, and probably about 2 or 3 in the morning. That's usually when I'm sitting in here working and doing things. But I was lonely. You know how some nights you'll be lonely, and nothing has changed. Everything around you is the same. You still have friends, and you still have family, and everything is the same as it always has been. But for some reason, that particular time, you're lonely. You just get lonely sometimes. And so I was. And what I did was I went online. I went on Steam, because I'm a big-time gamer. I love gaming. And I just sort of put a little note on Twitter and said, hey, anybody wants to hang out with me and come talk? I'm hanging out on Steam right now. And there was a lot of people that came and just showed up. And I even mentioned that I was lonely. And a lot of people showed up just to say hi and to talk with me and to keep me from being lonely. But unfortunately, that actually, at first it was good. At first I was happy about that. But then it started making me sad because I realized that not everyone can do that. You know, I was very thankful for it. I was very grateful. But I also realized that not everyone can just summon up a whole lot of people who will talk to them when they're lonely. There are some people out there who are lonely who just all there. They have no choice but to sit there and be lonely. They can get on Twitter all they want or Steam, and they can say, hey, I'm lonely. Will anybody talk to me? And nobody will, because they don't know that many people. There are not that many people that know them. And I don't like that thought. I don't like that thought at all. I don't like the idea of people being lonely out there. So, the purpose of this show, the Beercast, is to talk about ideas, observations. I'm going to be reading some, things that I write. I write down bits of my life, and I write down some thoughts that I have. I'm going to read one a little bit later in this show and hang out with you guys. I want to hang out with you. I want this to feel like we're chilling out and we're talking to each other. I can see your comments down there. I'm going to be answering some of them when I can see them. And I want to be able to build a channel eventually that have a lot of shows that people can come and listen to when they're lonely, when they feel like they don't have anyone to talk to or who's talking to them. I really want this to be something where they can listen. They can just turn it on and throw it in the background. It doesn't matter, but they'll know that I am talking to you and I'm sharing my ideas with you. And if you're in the live channel, then you can share ideas with me as well. And it's going to be a positive show. I play a lot of characters. Some of you guys know one of them pretty intimately, and he's the angry guy. He's the one who throws out anger when that's his solution to everything. To the Ranting Griffin, he's a part of me, but he's only the angry part of me. He's very, and none of the rest of it gets through with To the Rant. He's just a 10% wedge of who I am, and he throws out all the anger. But I want this to be the positive stuff. And that's not to say that there's not still going to be rants. I'm still going to do the normal stuff. Actually, I'm going to get a lot more things going on now that I have the studio set up. But I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. This show, it is a real show now. Oh my God, it's totally a real show. Oh boy, Navigatorture, Navi. We'll call you Navi. Asked me if I'm happy in Colorado, and yes, actually, since we moved here, it's been much, 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 much better. It's a lot of beautiful Pikes Peak. I literally walk outside my front door, and there's this big chunk of rock with snow on top of it, and it's huge. It's right outside the front door, and yeah, LA was interesting, but it was just a little bit too much. It was too big. It was too polluted. I don't know if you guys remember, but if you kept up with my shows and my rants and things, once I moved to LA, I constantly had a hoarse voice. I was constantly struggling to talk and yelling, and it was all, scratchy and stuff. And I thought I didn't know what was wrong. I thought maybe I just, my throat was going bad or something like that. But the fact is, as soon as we moved out of Los Angeles, my voice started coming back. And the only thing we can figure is that it was the air out there. And when you land there, if you ever go visit, you'll wind up knowing what I'm talking about, because it smells like car fumes. There's a lot of good things about LA. But it's just not for us. Not for us particularly. Now, hang on. One of the things that the Beercast is about, of course, is beer. I want to start out the very first Beercast show with the beer that I drink most often, because I find it generally in more places, more restaurants, more bars have this, and it's, to me, the most acceptable beer that is most widely available, and that is Sam Adams Boston Lager. I know it's a kind of a boring thing, but start out the first show with my most common beer, and from there we'll move on to other more exotic flavors and tastes. I'm going to be I'm going to use my mug. This is a mug that was given to me by a guy who was working for Campbell Pottery at Anthrocon. And I know you can't see it. It's hard to see probably because the lights are all weird and I don't know how it comes off on camera. But there's this really cool metallic effect because this pottery is actually made. It's infused with copper around the thing, and it really reflects the light. And when you move the mug around, it almost looks like clouds, like in motion, and it is really, really, really crazy. But Campbell Pottery gave this to me as a gift, and so to return the favor, if you want to go and check out their stuff because it's really cool, they are at campbellpotterystore.com, and you can go. I guess you can order stuff from them. The guy who came up to me and gave me this really nice guy. This looks more like a coffee mug, but I'm gonna use it for beer anyway. I hope everybody forgives me. So beer. There we are. So here's to the first episode of the Beercast. Here's to you guys. All right. So, this show, not quite certain exactly how often I'm going to do it. I don't think it'll be a once a week thing, but I'm thinking it'll be at least twice a month. So maybe every other week, perhaps it might go weekly. It just depends. Basically, I just sit this thing up here and, while I'm working on things, and I'll just turn it on and just start talking to you guys about the thoughts that I've had recently. It's also going to be a blog about vlog, VLOG. You're showing your age, old man. About things that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be answering some emails too. In fact, if you want to write into the show, that's where I'm going to be taking all my emails and a lot of the questions, except for the ones down here that are in the live chat, then write to beercast@gmail.com. And you can, I'll get it and I'll keep the emails and I'll respond to them if I can. And I'd love to talk with you guys about all kinds of things. This show is going to be, it's going to be chocked with all kinds of weird topics. Can't speak tonight. See, this is what you get when you try to do something live, you know? I would have cut that out if this had been a normal Radio Free Potato. I would have been topics. Oh, cut it out. Beep. But can't do it when it's live. So I'm on the spot here, folks. So I am going to come back in just a moment after short break and talk to you about the next bit of what's coming up for me and what's coming up for the studio and what you guys can expect to see in the near future. And that's coming right up here in just a minute or two. Be right back. So, just arranging a few papers there. Hope you all are enjoying the wonderful royalty-free music. And yes, Shinlung says, you're all beta testers. Yeah, you kinda are. No, by the way, somebody, actually, who was it? It was, Voreo Sebra. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Asked if I meant to have a title card come up. I didn't, but, I was thinking about doing that earlier. And that's probably what I'll wind up doing in the future, is, have a title card pop up just for a couple of minutes. Just so I can wind up taking a little bit of a break and, looking over my next notes and such like that there. It's kind of hard, actually, mixing all the video and the music at the same time that I'm actually doing the show. I did not expect it to be, this is almost like cooking. Which, by the way, I don't know if you guys do this, but, one thing, about my life is that, when I'm stressed, you can smell it. You can literally smell it throughout the house. And the reason why is because I love to cook. One thing that I do when I'm stressed is I try to come up with new combinations and ideas of, things to cook. What happens if you add garlic to baked chicken? Exactly. And being as I love garlic and I love mushrooms, and I love a lot of other things like hot sauces and kimchi and goat cheese. I like a lot of things that are aromatic, let's say. So I wind up cooking something, and it winds up smelling up the house. I like to say that most often, even if it smells a little weird, it actually winds up tasting good. But this is something that I think more people should try. Because cooking is almost like it's like a combination of art and science and performance all at the same time. It's a very challenging thing because you have to judge, your timing. You have to understand when certain thing is going to heat up to a certain point, when that's going to start bubbling, when this is going to be done, and when the cheese is melted over here. You have to start it all at different times so that you can combine them at the right time. When you combine them, well, you literally are combining chemicals. You're combining, different flavors into one flavor, into one sort of pot. And there's your science part. And the performance is basically in simply doing the work, because if you're making a good 4 or 5 course meal, which I've done before on my own, you're going to find yourself in this kind of ballet. It's actually a mixture of a ballet and falling down the stairs at the same time. But if you can get it down and get it right, and you can wind up with this thing at the end that you can eat. By the way, I will be probably talking a lot about food on this show, because, to be very honest, it's one of my favorite things in the world is literally food. I love all kinds of food. I've never met a flavor I didn't like. And that is not a joke for the internet to pervert, by the way. Either way, I think more people should try it. I know a lot of people out there, a particular friend of mine, the person who made the intro graphic to the Beercast, he has just recently, as an 18-year-old, he's recently moved out and got on his own. He moved out and into his own place, and he's there now, and he's working actually 2 jobs. I feel sorry for the guy almost, but he's doing what it takes. He understands that he's got to get this done. He's got to do it, and so he's pounding himself to death nearly, which I kind of wished he'd back off just a little bit, but to, make sure he pays the bills and gets the rent paid and has something saved up. He's trying to be a responsible person at 18 years old. And I've seen people do far worse. But one thing he's kind of a little bit shy of is new foods, because he did grow up in a smaller town. with his family, and they weren't too they weren't too experimental with food. So he's got, a few things that he knows that he likes, and everything outside of that is a mystery. He doesn't know if he'd like it or not. So I've been encouraging him to cook, not just because of it broadens your horizons, but also because it's a lot of fun and it's a really good experience to have. And the feeling of when you actually make something, you cook something, and it's actually really good, that's a really good feeling. And it's something that, belongs in people's lives. Everybody should have as many good feelings as they possibly can in life, because there's going to be plenty of times where you can't feel good. You're sad or you're depressed or something's wrong. So there's just no time in life to not grab a hold of every good feeling that you possibly can. Yeah, so that's my advice of the day. But one of the things that I have a personal history with as far as cooking is beer. It's one of the reasons I wanted to do a Beercast instead of a wine stream. The wine stream. Beercast. See, it depends on how you say it, wine stream. Beercast. I like Beercast. I'm going to try never to run over Kage's winecasts, because I don't want people to have to choose between his winecasts. Oh! It's not what it looks like, I swear. It foamed. Oh my gosh. Apologies for that. But when I first tried beer, and Charles Ard says, pad kimao with chili garlic sriracha. Oh, yeah. I am a big fan of hot sauce. Hot sauce is amazing. That's a story I'll tell you here in a little bit. But for now, beer. When I first tried beer, like most people, I didn't like it. But it's a lot like coffee or like hot sauce in a way. A good segue there. In that you have to develop a taste for it. And once you do, you can start differentiating between the different flavors of beer. And I guess, your brain starts throwing out the effect, and you actually start being able to taste all these different flavors and stuff. However, if you don't like beer, this is something that I recommend to people who are first-time drinkers, or not necessarily the first time, but people who say that they don't like alcohol. Because, not that I'm trying to force alcohol on people. I think, drinking should be done responsibly, and nobody should go crazy. But one thing that I've never failed on, every time somebody comes up, it's like, yeah, well, I just don't like booze. I don't like the flavor of it. I never have. If you're one of those people, try a Midori sour. Go to a bar and ask for a Midori sour. Never failed on that. Even people who say that they just do not like the flavor of booze, any kind of booze, come back to me and they say, whoa, you were right. This is actually really, really good. And I personally like them also myself. So we got 53 people watching currently. That's more than I actually expected. I don't expect a whole lot of viewers for this, because this isn't normally the kind of thing that I do. But I am going to be doing more things that people are used to seeing me doing, and even some more things other than that. That's going to be coming up here in a little bit. But hot sauce, also just like beer, and please don't let this foam at me again. No foamy, no foamy. No. There we go. Perfect. Hot sauce is another one. I've met people who just, I can't, it's too hot. I can't eat it. What is that? A tomato? It's too spicy. Literally I've met people that, just a shake of pepper and they turn red. I used to be like that. When I was growing up, my mother was a very young mother when she had me, and I'm the first of two other siblings. I'm the first of 3 children. And she had me when she was 20 years old. She got married when she was 18. And I think it was because she probably had so little experience at the point. She didn't really know how to cook. Her idea of cooking is waving some meat over some fire until it's brown. The only spices in the house were salt and pepper, and my dad was really the only ones who used pepper. So I'd never really had any spicy things. And I actually ran into, when I used to work at a television studio. And there was this one girl, she was an editor, and she sat in the editing bay all day editing. She worked very hard. Her name was Fru? I believe it was Fru. And she would sit in there with a jar of jalapenos, eating the just one after the other, just eating them just raw. And I was like, how can you do that? And she looked at me, she's like, you know what? One of these has 7 times the amount of endorphins as a chocolate bar. And I was like fascinated by that in the first place. In the second place, I thought, hey, this is just probably a matter of acclimation, right? Everybody has to get used to certain flavors and new things. So I'm going to start getting myself used to this and see what happens. So I went out and I bought a jar of jalapenos. And I started eating them. I could eat 1 a day. I was going to eat 1 a day. And, it nearly killed me. But it didn't take long. Maybe about 2 weeks. And after I ate that one, I wanted another one. I wasn't done yet. I wanted another jalapeno. And I'd get another one and eat it, and then that would be enough. It took maybe about 6 months, but I genuinely began to love the flavor of jalapeno. I mean, I know it's not the hottest pepper in the world, but I just love the flavor of it. And I would sit down and I would eat an entire jar by itself. So now here's me and Fru sitting in the editing bay together with jars of jalapenos, and we're just eating them, and everybody's looking at us like we're crazy. But from that point on, I really got into spicy things, and I was able to experience the difference between them. And yeah, even though it's still hot, it wouldn't put me off of it. I wouldn't have to spit it out, or it wasn't painful. It was just very interesting. And, pepperoncinis. Shin Lung says pepperoncinis. I love the flavor of those too. They're not as hot as jalapenos, but I love the flavor. They taste very earthy. And I'll eat those as well. So, but that is the way if you want to actually acclimate yourself to spicy things. And I know some people out there who they can't take spicy things, but they want to be able to experience them. Well, give that a try. Go out. It's kind of hard to find whole jalapenos in a jar anymore, but jalapeno slices. Go out and get yourself a jar of jalapeno slices, and take the slices and just eat them. Eat a few of them until that's it. You can't do it anymore. Do that every day for a little while, and you'll start eating more of them. I guarantee you will. You'll get addicted to them, and then eventually you'll start eating other things like jalapenos or habaneros and cayennes and poblano peppers. I just discovered are wonderful in cooking. But it will open up a brand new, arena of flavors, because all the hot things so many of them are flavored slightly different. They have a slightly different feel to them, and a slightly different burn, and a slightly different flavor, and they're all really, really potent, and it's really cool. It's just a cool range of flavors. So if you want to experience it, just try that. Start out with jalapenos. Start eating a few slices a day, just the little slicey ones, and then just keep going. Keep going until you actually want more of them. Pretty soon you'll be sitting down and you'll be eating a whole jar of them. I guarantee you will. So, going to be back here in just a minute or two, and when I do come back, I'm going to tell you guys about all the plans and all the things that are coming up from me, not only on this channel and on this show, but from me anywhere, because there's a lot of stuff that I'm excited about. I hope you guys are going to be excited about it, and I want to let you know. And so I will see you guys in just a couple of minutes. will get in the habit of actually blowing into this thing before I come back to it, so the noise goes away. So here we are back. Gonna actually, wow, I gotta time these a little better. The music is really, it's really screwing me up a little bit. So yeah, hope you guys don't mind that. Anyway, so as you guys may know, and we just talked about it a second ago, recently moved to Colorado. Actually moved to Colorado Springs. Lovely place, lovely. And I know a lot of people have said, "Oh, it's really religious over there." And yeah, you've got things like focus on the family here, and but the thing is, you have a lot of people that are on the opposite sides of it, and a lot of people who just are just laid out. I mean, they're laid back about the whole thing. I've talked to plenty of Christians here that know at this point that I'm an atheist, and they're like, "That's fine. Hey, all they want to know is, do you plan on stabbing anybody or stealing anything? No? Okay, then you're cool." It's a really, really laid back place, and everybody's just kind of, most of the people are just kind of a sort of go your own way type of place, hey, whatever works for you, go for it, which I really, really like that about this place. If you guys ever get the chance to visit Colorado Springs, definitely take the chance, because it's extremely beautiful here. So, moved here, away from Los Angeles, and at this point, when we moved here, didn't have the room for a studio. Well, we just recently got it. I recently rebuilt the studio that you guys all know and have seen from, the old 2 Cent shows. In fact, behind me is the same curtain that we used. So here it is. The studio is here, and I'm now able to continue to do things. And one of the first things that I'm going to do is I'm actually getting a little bit deeper into the atheist community. I didn't know that there was an atheist community. I didn't know that there were atheist conventions and that it was as big of a thing as it is, until I met my roommate who lived here before we did, and he is the Colorado State Director of American Atheists in Colorado. And he is an amazingly wicked smart guy. We get to sit around and talk about all kinds of subjects, philosophy and sociology and science and quantum theory. Sometimes we'll go into. We've sat around writing out formulas about where gravity comes from, and I'm fairly certain it's not my butt, not yet. Eventually my butt will get wide enough that gravity will literally come from it. That's where gravity will emanate, all of it, from my butt, because, like I said before, I like food. I'm going to become an old man who is fat. So, either way, so I found that there is an atheist community. My gaming, Renard Soro says, there's yes, there is really an atheist community. In fact, they just had an atheist convention up here in Denver where Lawrence Krauss stood up and talked. And if you've never heard Lawrence Krauss, please look him up. Look up him, look up Dawkins, there's a lot of really good speakers in the atheist community. So I am going to be doing, in the near future, an atheist talk show designed to actually not preach to the choir. So many atheists out there are Bible beating. That's the first thing that came to mind, even though they don't have a Bible to beat. But they're walking around and they're just as adamant about their lack of faith as some fundamentalist Christians are about their faith. And they beat each other over the heads and they don't get anywhere. And okay, there's, I guess, a purpose for that. There is, I think, some kind of intrinsic value in having an atheist that can stand up and speak to other atheists and get them, excited and riled up and talking to people who already agree. In my case, I want to actually try and make a difference. I want to talk. I don't want to just talk to atheists who agree with everything I say. I want to speak with Christians and Muslims and Jewish people, and I want to speak to religious people, because this fight has been going on for thousands of years, and it's not going anywhere. I want to try to make it go somewhere. I want to say, look, we're drawing the line in the wrong place. We shouldn't be drawing this at Christians versus atheists. We should be drawing this at crazy people versus non-crazy people. That way, you and I can stand shoulder to shoulder and say, hey, you guy over there who's stabbing people, yeah, you need to go. Not drawing it at just, you're an atheist, you need to go. You're stabbing people, you need to go. And if we can get things on the right side to where we can get all of us under one umbrella, to where everybody who just wants a peaceful life to be able to live and pursue their happiness, if we can all get on one side, we're going to be a far, far greater force than if we split ourselves up, between atheists, Christians, Muslims, and Jews. That's splitting our forces. We need to get together and say, okay, you know what? We're never going to be able to talk each other. You're not going to be able to talk me into believing in your God, and I'm not going to be able to talk you into not believing in God. So let's go down. Okay, let's go down to the next one. How do you feel about, murder? Oh, you don't like that. Well, I don't like that either. Why don't we get together on that and actually move on? And I see people in the channel, Bree, yes, great giraffe. Maybe. No, actually, that would probably put them off a little bit if we came to them with great giraffe. That would just be like, they'd be like, think we were crazy, which of course we are, but they don't need to know that. They do not need to know that. They need to think we're sane so that we can get together on the same side. But either way, that's going to be the basis of the talk show. Yeah, I will be defending atheism against, comments and things that people say that, are not so smart, I'd like to say. So yeah, I will be defending atheism, but the main point in the whole thing is going to be to actually try and create a bridge between atheists and religious people, so we can start trying to find a way to get together and solve the problems that we all find are problems. That's going to be one thing. Here's another one, and I know some people are not going to receive this very well. Some people may. I don't know how many gamers there are out there. I don't know how many people out there watch Vanoss Gaming or Markiplier or Jacksepticeye or anything like that. However, I look at these guys and I watch their videos, and to me, that seems like a really fun thing to do. So I am going to start up a gameplay channel. And I know the internet is entirely, it's oversaturated with gamers, but, somebody asked me, when I mentioned this to him, said, do you really think that YouTube needs another gamer channel? And my answer was, yeah. My answer was that's like asking if there needs to be another recipe for pie or another kind of, cake. Or, of course there does. There always needs to be more. When it comes to creativity and personality and things that you can do, there's always going to be, the need for more. It's like, does the world need another painting? I mean, come on. We've got hundreds of thousands, if not millions of paintings. Do we really need another painting in the world? Of course we do. Because everybody brings something very special to what they do when they're being creative. And yeah, I know there's a lot of gaming channels out there, but nobody's going to quite do it like I do it. And nobody's going to quite have the same comments. Nobody's going to play it exactly the way that I do. And I'm only going to hope that I can be entertaining while I do it and have fun myself. So I'm going to start it. The channel is actually already built, but I haven't actually put any graphics in it yet, and there's no videos on it. It's called Codger Gaming. I'm going to be the old codger. That's what I'm going to try to do, because all the gamers out there, they're these young guys. And I don't see any older people who are video gaming, because most of the people who are a little bit older than me, they didn't get into video games. I ate all that up. So here I am. I'm almost a 45-year-old man, and I love video games, and I love new video games. And I don't think that perspective is out there, the old guy perspective. I want to sit here and I want to go into games, and I want to tear up 16-year-olds in Call of Duty and talk about get off my lawn. And I don't know. I think maybe it might be interesting for some people to see an older perspective on video games, and maybe it'll inspire them. It's like, hey, see that guy? He's almost, he's 45-year-old and he's still gaming. I hope I'm doing that. I hope by the time I'm 80, I'm still gaming. He's laying in your bed in the nursing home, and you're just still ripping up people. Yeah, die. So that's another thing that's coming up, and I'm going to do the gaming channel. That's going to be a lot of fun for me. The 2 Cent Show. A lot of people have asked. Shadow of the Colossus. Lightning Turtle says, actually, Jacksepticeye just recently played Shadow of the Colossus. So yeah, he's been a lot of fun with that. But another one everybody's been asking about 2 Cents. Is 2 Cents coming back? I honestly don't know. We have the room. We have the facilities. We are able to make the 2 Cent Show again. The problem is, and I'll be honest about this, Jibba spoiled me. Because he was the best co-host that I have ever found. He was wonderful. Our timing, our mentality together when we were both doing the show was just so lightning fast, and we knew exactly what we were going to do. We made each other laugh. He was so great that I don't know where I'm going to find another co-host quite like him. And I'm not sure that we can do it over remotely. And another one, Mass Retriever just mentioned, Retromania. A lot of people have been asking about Retromania, and that one, actually, DJ Era and I are currently working on a way to do that remotely. That one may be possible to do, even though he's in California and I'm here. We're working on that. We're going to find out if we can do it, and if we can't, then the plan is we're just going to fly him here to Ranting Griffin Studios a couple of times a year and just spend a couple of weeks playing just buttloads of games, recording them, and then releasing them every week. So that will most likely come back. But 2 Cents, I think what I have to do with 2 Cents is something that I probably should wind up doing anyway, and that is going out and meeting more people. There are plenty of furries in this area and in Denver, and I got to say, I've been amazed. I've been amazed by the furry community here in this area, because when we moved to LA, I mean, there are like probably tens of thousands of furries in LA. And we announced, hey, we were moving to LA, and we went to LA, and we met some of the furs there, and they're like, oh, hey, welcome to the place. But not a lot of furries over there really hung out or talked with us, or even really wanted to hang out or talk with anybody. But when we announced we were moving to Colorado, all we had to do was, a year ahead of time, we're like, we're going to move to Colorado. From that point on, I began to be approached by furries at conventions from Colorado who would come up to me and give me a big hug and say, hey, you're moving to Colorado. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the... I got welcomed by so many people in Colorado who just would come up and find me and just say, hey, just, welcome to the place. We're really, happy you're going to be there with us. And so it was really, really almost strangely, creepily welcoming experience, if there is such a thing. But it was wonderful. So I need to get out and I need to meet more furries from Colorado, and I need to find somebody. I need to find somebody who can do it. I've got an idea about a couple of people, and one of them I think you guys would like. This guy's name is Grizz Dog, and he is from the East Coast. He's from Boston, and oh brother, is he from Boston. He's got the whole Boston attitude, the whole Boston thing going on, and he's about my age, and yeah, he can really lay down some opinions. He's a funny guy too. I'm thinking about getting him in here and seeing if we can set up something and just sort of test it out. Maybe you guys would like that. Anyway, I will continue to do rants. Those are going to be on my normal channel that you guys already know. I've got another couple of small shows. There's one little one that I want to do. Probably not. Probably each episode will be 5 to 10 minutes. And it's going to be called Things You Should Never Say Ever, where I'm going to take popular sayings that I hear people say all the time and tell them why it just does not make sense to say such a thing. In a logical way, yet also to the ranting Griffiny. So there will be that. So are there going to be videos of these streams on YouTube afterwards? Says Toby Holdstock. Yes, actually. Once I stop the live recording, the video will actually take a little time to process. It's got to process the video. And then once it's done that, poof, it'll be up to watch over and over again for everybody. So yeah. Cirque de Demons. Creative. Says, honestly, if it wasn't for my boyfriend making me feel comfortable and accept myself as a furry, I don't think I would have known about you, Griffin. Well, I'm glad you had somebody there for you. I'm glad you had somebody to talk you through that and you know, get you through that time in your life, because I think everybody has people who do not fall within the norm, gay people, furries, asexuals like myself, don't necessarily start out comfortable with ourselves, because we're often told that we're, you know, not normal, and you see bad reactions to people like us. And so sometimes you need a little bit of a push. You need a little bit of a kick in the ass. And I'm perfect. I'm very pro kick in the ass when some people need it sometimes, because that's sometimes what gets you up off the ground and keeps you going. And I'm glad that you had somebody there that could do that for you. So yeah, anyway, if you have any other ideas for me, things that you might like to see me do other than the things that, you know, the 2 cents in the gaming channel and stuff like that, I want to invite your ideas. Write to me and let me know, to beercast@gmail.com, and let me know what you'd like to see me doing, and maybe I'll turn it into a show. There's still a few more that I haven't mentioned, but I will actually, well, don't worry about it, because if you watch my Twitter or you watch me here, I'm going to tell you everything that I'm going to be doing in the future, and everything that's, you know, planning on going on. I'm going to tell you everything right here in this vlog. So, going to take another quick break. Need to open another beer. And how long is this song? Oh, goody. 3 minutes. That's plenty enough time for me to do a few things. So, be right back. I may actually go take a leak too. Enjoy the nice royalty-free music, and I'll come back, and I want to read you a little bit of a thing that I wrote that I think might mean something to either you or maybe somebody you know. So, be right back after a couple minutes. actually, one of the things I love about my new studio is that it's right adjacent to a bathroom. It has a connecting bathroom, so that way when I drink beer, I can just hop over there during my breaks and actually take a bit of a leak. But I hope you're enjoying this so far. I hope this is something like the Radio Free Potatoes that I used to do, because I know there was a very, very specific audience that liked the Radio Free Potatoes. Not everybody did. But the whole point of them was so that I could actually get to know people and hang out with them as my whole self and not just one of my characters. And that's what I want to do with this. I want it to feel like a hangout. I want to interact with people as just me, as the person that I am when I'm just at home, just working, just doing a few things, you know. But I want to read you something. I wrote this, and I actually I didn't read this exact thing, but I kind of approximated it at a convention. I just did Indie FurCon in Indianapolis, which is a smaller con, but it's really, really well run, and it's more intimate. So I love huge cons. I love Anthrocon. There's nothing in the world wrong with looking out your hotel window and seeing the entire city center of a major U.S. city with nothing but ears and tails walking around. There is nothing wrong with that. That is an amazing experience. However, I also like the smaller cons. I like them also when they're more intimate as well, because then I have a chance to just walk up and talk to people that I normally wouldn't be able to talk to at a larger con because I'm so busy going everywhere that I have to say, oh, hi, bye. You know, I've had to do that before. I've seen posts about me online where people have said, you know, I tried to talk to two, but he just sort of walked by and waved and was like, yeah, whatever. And the thing is, I can't deny that I had that attitude at the time, but it's just at a place like Anthrocon, it can take me an hour to get down the hallway because a lot of people want to talk to me, and eventually, you know, somebody waves and I'm like, yeah, hi, bye, gotta go. And I know that was an individual person, you know, who didn't, you know, he doesn't identify himself as part of a huge crowd. He was just an individual person who wanted to talk to me, and I just didn't have time to do it. And I believe it or not, I regret every single time that happens. And I can only hope that they wind up understanding that, yeah, I had a lot of places to go. But this is why I like, you know, a place like IFC is wonderful. There was about 600, maybe 700 people there. And I was actually able to come outside and just walk up to people and just start talking with them. Just, hi, how's it going? What are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about this. Well, blah. And I could start to talk with them. And I did this particular thing. I did a show. It wasn't a show, it was a panel. Where I kind of went through this same thing. And I want to read it to you guys now. So pardon me if I don't read it perfectly. But I'm going to try. I'm going to try to get through this. And we'll see what you think. So, let's play a game. Don't worry, this is an easy game. There are no points, and you don't have to pre-order it to get the shotgun, I promise. This is a game of imagination. Yes, those pictures in our eyes that we used to use before Second Life. You know, those. Think of it as kind of a fun guided meditation of sorts. And if you stick around until the end, your prize will hopefully be a new perspective that you might not have thought about before. So lean back in your chair, put on your headphones if you like, turn out the lights, maybe light a few candles, some incense. If you don't have candles, you can special order some from the internet. I'd recommend taking a quick trip to India to get the incense, the best incense you can find. So go ahead and get to the airport. Don't worry, I'll wait. And you should be back by now. Okay, imagine the world. Imagine that this world, the whole world, is exactly like it is right now. It's the same place you've always known it to be. People are the same races and their same religions. They talk about weather and celebrities and politics in the same languages that they always did. The department stores still play Christmas music about the time the sky begins to turn that special blue color at the beginning of fall, you know? The bowling alleys still smell like rubber and stale beer. You know, you wake up in the morning and turn on the television, turn on the television to see the traffic report and languish for as long as you can possibly dare in an atmosphere of coffee and toast and fresh yellow sunlight, cutting out shapes in the sides of the houses before getting in your car and reluctantly launching yourself from the embrace of ancient natural sleep directly into the industrial-aged, mechanized hallways of political correctness and motivational posters. Wow, did I write that? That's pretty good. Holy shit. Anyway, going on. History is the same here, too. Neil Armstrong played golf on the moon. John F. Kennedy proudly declared him in German that he is a donut. The Titanic was promoted from a fading myth into a scientific reality when they actually discovered it sitting on the bottom of the North Atlantic and then promptly robbed it of its valuables. You won't find anything different in the history books here, nor in the everyday hustle and bustle of life. In fact, the only thing that is different is mushrooms. You know, the little fungus food that you sometimes find on pizza or deep fried at high energy, weekend restaurants where the waiters wear far too many badges with good time phrases on them. Mushrooms are the only thing different here. And actually, the mushrooms themselves haven't really changed at all. They still look and taste the same. It's people's reactions to them that are different in this world. Now, I don't know how you feel about mushrooms, but the majority of the civilized world has a tendency to wrinkle their noses at them and prefer something different to eat. So for the sake of this game, let's assume that you're not very fond of mushrooms. And in all likelihood, you're probably not. Oh, sure, it wouldn't kill you to eat them, but in the grand scheme of food, they're on your list of less preferred things to put in your mouth. No big deal. You're not a big fan of mushrooms. Not a problem, right? You just tell the pizza place to hold the mushrooms, or you pick them off your burger and continue on with your non-mushroomy life. However, in our imagined world, it's not quite that simple. You see, here everyone loves mushrooms. In fact, almost every person on the planet is obsessed with mushrooms in ways that are a bit frightening sometimes. They love them so much it influences many things about their lives, and they don't even notice it. People here don't ask you if you like mushrooms. They ask you how you like your mushrooms. It never even occurs to them that you might not like it at all. Here, mushrooms come on all the pizzas and all the burgers. It's almost unheard of to go through a day without having mushrooms with at least one meal. When you turn on the radio, many of the songs you hear are about mushrooms. All the movies. Not only does nearly every film show people eating mushrooms, but they spend what seems like a gratuitous amount of time capturing every little detail of a mushroom meal, even if it has nothing to do with the story at all. Late night infomercials sell cheap items to help cook mushrooms. Daytime television puts mushrooms in commercials that aren't even about mushrooms. Apparently, if you cover a car with mushrooms, more people will buy the car. Mushrooms are everywhere in this world. In fact, it's almost impossible to get away from them. They're on billboards, they're in magazines and video games everywhere. It's certainly an interesting place for you, a person who could really do without them entirely. Over time, while you're in this world, you learn that the great majority of people like their mushrooms sautéed. And the people who eat sautéed mushroom figure it's really the only right way to do it. Unfortunately, there's a smaller group of people who insist that theirs needs to be deep fried. And you watch with puzzlement and a sense of irony as one group becomes so offended with the way the other eats their mushrooms that they take their battle into courtrooms and try to ban certain forms of mushroom preparation, while the other groups protest and try to fight for their right to eat mushrooms in the way they want to. The sautéed faction even tries to claim that because animals don't eat fried mushrooms, they can't be natural. No one bothers to point out that animals don't eat them sautéed either. The chasm between mushroom options is so serious that the government even gets involved sometimes, and people ultimately see it as a reason to hate each other. Parents disown their children, companies fire their employees, and sometimes people are beaten or even killed, all because of the way they prefer to eat their mushrooms. Sometimes it's funny, but mostly you just find it sad and confusing. All this over a simple little fungus. And this is only between two different sides. There are, hiding in dark alleyways in rural areas, people who prefer their mushrooms raw or baked or turned into soup. But we don't really talk about those people. It certainly does seem strange to you that so many people could be so emotionally invested in one tiny, simple little food, especially when there are thousands of other foods to choose from. Strangest of all is that eating mushrooms in certain ways is even a crime here. Sometimes even possessing pictures of people eating them the wrong way is a crime. Luckily for you, not liking mushrooms isn't a crime at all. People who don't like mushrooms are simply considered to be sick or defective, or in some way, in general, pitied. You begin to think that maybe you just didn't give mushrooms a fair shot. After all, if everyone else is so crazy about them, then there must be something to them. People marry each other based on how they like their mushrooms. They take college courses just to be in the same classes with someone who likes the mushrooms in the same way they do. They sometimes even choose their careers based on the amount of mushrooms they think they might be able to get. With so many people interested and integrating so much of their lives based on mushrooms, they can't just be as bad as you thought they were, could they? So you spend some more time trying to eat mushrooms the way that everybody else does. You even try them in ways that are a bit controversial. One time you tried mushroom bisque, but in the end it was still just mushrooms. They didn't get any better the more you tried them. Still you ate them occasionally just to be social and to pretend like you like them. When your friends are sitting around and talking about mushrooms, you do it too, pretending to have the same passions for them as your peers, but ultimately you just don't care for them. You begin to get the idea that there's something wrong with you, that perhaps you're somehow incapable of enjoying something completely amazing. But seeing what the enjoyment of mushrooms drives people to do, you'd be afraid to like them. Eventually, I'm getting towards the end of this here. Hope this is not boring to you guys. Eventually, you give up on trying to pretend. You tell some of your close friends that you don't like mushrooms. You've never liked them. And if you went your whole life without eating another one, that'd be just fine with you. A few of them simply don't believe you. A couple of them admire you for being strong enough to be open with your disorder. But most of them simply shake their heads and sadly and pity you as you go on with your mushroomless life. Sometimes you want to shout at all these people that they're crazy for letting some stupid fungus drive entire societies to pure brainwashed obsession. You know, you want to tell them that if anyone is broken or screwed up, they are. But you don't. Because no one would really understand unless they also weren't fond of mushrooms. No, it doesn't really hurt you. It doesn't take away from your enjoyment in life. But sometimes you do feel very misunderstood and honestly quite lonely when nobody seems to understand your perspective at all. Of course, there's no such place as a world like this one. But if you're an asexual person, that world is here now. To an asexual person, the drive to have sex is like the mushrooms in our fantasy world. Asexuals simply don't have the desire for it. It's merely one of 1,000 activities in a world where there are much more rewarding things to spend time on. And in a society that practically revolves around sex, this is very often confusing, frustrating, and lonely for an asexual. Asexual people are often considered broken and defective. No one bothers to ask them if they are interested in sex. It's just assumed that they are. And though asexuals, like anyone, need love and companionship, they often find themselves alone purely because of the fact that regular sexual intercourse is not part of the relationship package. I'm asexual. I voluntarily have not had sexual relations with another person since the late 90s. Almost 10 years, actually. And you may not believe me, but the honest truth is that if I die without having sex again, I will probably not even notice. I'm not broken. I don't want pity. But what I would like is for myself and every asexual is to be understood, respected, and to know that they aren't alone. Asexuals aren't interested in any rights movement. No one is really discriminating against us. There will be no parades or pamphlets or marches on Washington. But what we do have is AVEN, the Asexual Visibility and Education Network. It's a website dedicated to educating the public on asexuality and a forum for asexuals all over the world to congregate, make friends, and have discussions. If you feel like you're asexual, you might want to pay a visit at asexuality.org. I'm going to take another break, and we will be back very, very shortly. I don't know if you folks have heard about an artist called Elector Fencer. If you have, it's probably been through my tweets and some of the things that I've said. Elector Fencer she's become a very good friend of mine, and she and I are currently working on a graphic novel that will be coming out soon. I've been lucky enough to be able to see the whole thing because, I'm the co-writer and editor. So I can assure you that she does amazing work. Every single page of this thing it's a painting. And it's a painting that's a comic. So she is amazing. And she actually got to come here and spend time with me. She spent about 3 weeks here in Ranty Griffin Studios working with me on the books, the graphic novels. And I found an interesting thing while she was here. She began talking about a time when she was a little kid. And she would wrap a rubber band around her finger. And the top of her finger would turn purple, and she'd sit there and poke it and squeeze it and look at it, and it would get numb, and and she would be fascinated by that. And I instantly found that very interesting, especially someone who studies sociology. The reason why is because Elector Fencer is German. She was born in Germany. She was actually born behind the Berlin Wall when it was still in Russian control. And if that is not a wildly different culture to grow up in than the U.S., I don't know what is. However, she's talking about doing this simple thing that I used to do when I was a kid. And we started talking about this because I mentioned, you know what, I did that too. We used to wrap little strings around our finger, and we started talking about that because that was amazing to me that somebody so far removed as a child would wind up doing the same thing. We started talking to other people and finding out that, yeah, pretty much everybody has done that at one point or another. And we started discussing other things, such as the idea of, having, your friends over when you're a kid and laying around in the dark when you're supposed to be sleeping and saying bad words, saying foul words. Hey, guess what? Fart. Doing that for hours and laughing. That's another thing that she did in Germany, that everybody does, that people in communist China did, that people in Fiji do. There are these certain things that everyone tends to do when they're young, and they seem to be universal. And they come at a time before we're socially trained into our prejudices and into our particular political ideals, into our religions. They happen before that. They happen when we're still just pure children. And as I was talking with her about this, it made me realize that on some level, at some point in all of our hearts, we are all the same. We all feel the same. Somewhere down inside, beyond all of the social programming that we get all the time, beyond the politics and the religion and the drama, if we were all able to remove that, we would just be sitting around wrapping rubber bands around our fingers and laughing about it. We would be spending time laying in bed in the dark, just yelling amusing words at each other and laughing. And there would be no drama, no differences between political parties, no differences between religions. There would be no persecution based on race, based on, sexual orientation. It wouldn't be there. I think that's still there. I think we all still have that. I really, really do. And in some way, I want to reach that. I want to reach that, and I want to bring that out so that people can find that place where everybody can just simply get along and be happy with each other. And I think if we do that, if we try that, if we try to live with that every day, then we might be able to get some of that out of humanity, I don't know. Maybe, and here, Cirque de Demons is talking about alien fart jokes. Either way, that's what I think. I'm going to actually take the next 10 minutes or so. Did I forward this? I think I did. I'm going to take the next 10 minutes or so and just talk with you guys on the channel. If you guys have anything to ask me, anything that you want to know, I'll answer your questions. Little bit interesting and kind of difficult, seeing as there's about a 30-second delay between the time that I say something and you actually get it. It's almost live. It's very close to live. Not quite live, but very close. So while you guys think up your questions and start sending them through, I'm going to take a drink of beer. Mm-hmm. Yes, Cirque de Demon says everybody has tried to whistle or crack their knuckles. I still... Oh, by the way, little bit of a point for you. I don't know if you guys ever heard this, but my mom always told me that if you cracked your knuckles, it'll give you arthritis or it'll make them bigger. They've actually debunked that. It's not true. It doesn't do anything. It's just a release of carbon dioxide that builds up in your joints, and it doesn't actually do anything. So hey, it's okay. Lightning Turtle is like 2 is talking about profound aspects of human nature. Chad is just talking about fart jokes. Yep, good times. Hey, whatever in the world makes you happy. If you guys want to talk about fart jokes while I'm up here talking to you and just being a voice in your ear, just to, somebody to just inspire your thoughts, I'm fine with that. That's great with me. 2, any chance of any new tutorials? I still watch the Outlast one. This is from Nirical. You may have missed it earlier. I talked about I'm doing a new gaming channel. So there's going to be lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of those. I just think I think that it's going to be a lot of work, but it's going to be a lot of fun too. The Nero 1001 says, your favorite beer and why? My favorite beer is a beer that comes from not Tasmania, New Zealand. It comes from New Zealand. I'm sorry, it's really hard to get in the United States, but every time I've been to Australia, you can get it easily down there. And it's called Leek Pier. And it is an actual ginger beer that is alcoholic. And I love it because it is just amazing. It's an amazing tasting beer. It's a ginger beer, but even Uncle Kage drinks that, and he doesn't drink anything but wine. He loves that stuff. It's so great. Jacob Rupert says, Subnautica! I actually love Subnautica. I love that game. It's creepy, it's fun, it's challenging, it's a survival game. It's almost every good thing wrapped up into one. I adore that game. Tony Patrick says, have you ever tried root beer? I'm having some now. I love root beer. And from what I've noticed, almost all mythical creatures in the furry fandom, griffins, dragons, unicorns, things like that, for some reason they all love root beer. I don't know why that is. Mythical creatures love mythical soda pop. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. But I love the stuff. Let's see. Speaking of games, too, if you want an emotional journey, PlayStation 2, Shadow of the Colossus, amazingly beautiful game. Shadow of the Colossus, I've seen it played. Actually, I've watched Jacksepticeye play it. I don't know if it's down my alley. It seems a bit frustrating as far as the physics go, because it's almost like it's really hard just to do simple little things, and you keep falling off of stuff, and that might bother me actually. But I don't know. Maybe one day I will play it. Kinchi Zabimaru says, hey, two, riddle me this. I tolerate the moon and stars and, oh boy, back up. I can't back up. Wait, where is it? I tolerate the moon and stars. I can't abide the sun. Banish me with a torchlight and you'll see me turn and run. I'm guessing it's a Twilight vampire from Twilight. Because then he'll sparkle. Fallout Shelter. Yes, Fallout Shelter. Marowolf says, I've been playing that actually. It's an amazing game. A lot of people are interested in gaming on here. I think maybe the gaming channel that I'm going to do, you guys think that'll go over well? I mean, if I was doing the same thing as well, with my own style, the same thing that, Markiplier and Jacksepticeye does, because I really would love to do it. I mean, I don't care if 2-3 people watch it. I want to do it because I think it'd be fun. But if you guys think that would go over well, then I'll just be even more down for it. Any Aussies watching? Not sure. Do I have any more? Oh, I have another beer. Halo. I liked Halo 1, I liked Halo 2, and I liked them because they were released for PC. I can't do first-person shooters like this. I can't do it. It's a really inefficient way to play a first-person shooter. Now, car games, racing games with a controller, best thing ever. First-person shooters like this, no, can't do it. So, yeah, Halo 1 and 2 I really liked because they actually were ported to PC. But since then, I kind of, it's kind of a dickish thing for Microsoft to do to not put them on PC just so people buy an Xbox. I don't know. Illogical Ferret says, what genre of games will you most concentrate on playing? On my gaming channel. I'm assuming. I'm not sure. I'm probably going to play games from all kinds of genres. I like all kinds of video games. Lately, my favorite kind of video game is atmospheric. And I know that's crazy. It's small genre. But there's a game out there it's relatively cheap. If you guys go out and get a game called The Vanishing of Ethan Carter and play that game, I guarantee you, at the end of that game, you will bawl your eyes out. I love games that are atmospheric and have an amazing story behind them because I honestly believe, and this is a 45-year-old guy, hey, the old things work best. This is a 45-year-old guy here telling you that video games, they are the narrative of the future. I mean, movies are great. They'll always be great. There's a certain artistry in movies. But video games now, that's where the narrative is going. That's where you experience a story better than you can experience it anywhere else. And I love the interaction. I love being able to play a game that can just tear you up emotionally, that you felt that you were right there in. This is something about video games that I continue to adore to this day. And so yeah, if you go out and you look, trust me, look up The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. It will blow your mind. You'll cry your eyes out. I swear to God, it's amazing, and that's why I like atmospheric games. Okay, we got some To the Ranting Kerbal. Anthony Stewart says, I love Kerbals. I love Kerbals. I love that game. I started before Kerbals. I started with Orbiter. The space flight simulator based on Newtonian physics. Orbiter it takes a week of studying that game just to launch. I mean, I don't even, people who have that thing don't even really want to call it a game because it is incredibly detailed and it's incredibly complex and it's an amazing, amazing game. Miracle says, have to run, awesome show too, and I look forward to gaming channel, future shows. Hope to see you at MFF in December. Peace, dude. Peace out. And I understand some folks have to leave. Show's not going to last much longer, a couple more minutes, and then we're going to be out of here and we're going to be done. Yep. And Bad Habit or Jacob Rupert is like, Orbiter. Yes, Orbiter. Amazing. Orbiter is crazy. So anyway, this is what this show is going to be like. This is what the Beercast is going to be. It's going to be ideas. It's going to be things that I've sat down and thought about, hey, I would like to share these ideas with people as myself. I understand that it's not going to be something that people are going to pile over themselves to get to every week. And it doesn't have to. I'm fine with that. I'm not going to get discouraged and be like, oh, well, only 50 people watch. I don't care. I am having a good time doing this, and I want it to be here so that when people feel lonely or they just want to hear somebody talk, they want to hear some ideas, maybe get some inspiration, then I can be here and I can talk and we can, feel like we've hung out. That's what I want this to be, is just, you and me and beer and hang out between us personally. That's what this should be. So, and Anthony Stewart says, I think this is going to work out great. Great. Because this is not going to take time away from anything else. I'm actually going to wind up doing a bunch of other shows too, and this doesn't take any away my concentration. All I have to do really is just to, if I have a thought, an idea, I write it down, I type it somewhere, and then I pop up and, once, maybe a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, and just tell you guys about my ideas and what's going on. Oh, by the way, speaking of what's going on, I am going to be, next time you're going to see me live is going to be at Arizona FurCon in Phoenix, I think it's the last week of October. I'm pretty sure it's over Halloween. So if you guys are going there, I'm going to be there. I think Uncle Kage is going to be there as well. I'm going to be there. Probably going to be at MFF in December. There's another one in between, and I can't think of what it is right now. I don't have my schedule in front of me, but I know there's another one in there. And it's a new one. It's a new con that's in Springfield, Missouri, called F3, F squared, something. I can't remember, but maybe there as well. Oh, pardon the silence there. Here, by the way, before I leave, this is the little gift that I got from Indie FurCon. It's a little paw. Little paw made out of little rings. And this girl was selling these. And she came up to me and she asked me what my favorite colors were. And I told her, black and white. And since my glasses are orange, the two glasses, it threw orange in there. So she made a black and white and orange little paw print for me out of her little rings. And she gave it to me. And I think it's awesome. Little paw print. I'm going to probably put a magnet on that and stick it on my little mini fridge over there. Xander. Hey! Xander the Blue is in my channel. Holy crap. Hi, Xander. Xander is Xander's an amazing comic. He comes up with jokes. I don't know where he gets them. But he's more of a quick-styled joke after joke comic. But he does all of his performances in fursuit. If you guys ever get a chance to see Xander on stage, don't turn that down. Please go, because he comes up with some amazing jokes. I don't want to give anything away, but yeah, he blew our minds at IFC. He kind of made us all dump out of our chairs and laugh on the floor. He was doing really good. Hope I pronounced this right. Saison Valaforn says it's amazing what kinds of artists the fandom has, and it is. The furry fandom is absolutely just packed with really, really amazing artists and amazing people, and people who have so much talent that they make me look stupid. I'm nothing. I'm nothing compared to like people like Electra Fencer and Xander and some of these people. And there's so much talent in the fandom that one of these days the whole world will see it. They'll see it and they'll recognize it. I know that they will, because you can't have this much, of an explosion of talent and amazing artwork and amazing stories and creativity and comedy and poems and videos coming out of one fandom without it eventually being noticed and people going, hey, these guys really, there's a lot of creative people here. Anyway, for now, hang on a second. Yeah, that's how we do that. For now, I'm going to take off for the evening. I've been here for about an hour and a half. The show is going to be probably around an hour and 2 hours, somewhere in between. Every one of them will be. And then I'll scoot off. I'll hope that you guys got some inspiration, that you got some new ideas, and that I got to, answer your questions and hang out with you guys with some beer. Hey, what's better than that, right? In the future, I will have guests. I'm hoping to have Electric Fence around here sometime. Toast the Rabbit will definitely be in this one. We'll probably have Randy Godovich, my friend that I mentioned earlier, the director of American Atheists for Colorado. Probably have him on here as well. And until next time, which I will make much further I'll announce it much further ahead next time. I didn't want a whole lot of people tonight in case this whole thing just fell through and sucked. But it apparently went okay. So if you guys like it, I'm going to actually and everybody's like bye, and Bree and bye everybody. Thanks for everything. And yeah, next time I'm going to give a lot more warning. Post up things so that there probably will be more people next time. But thank you guys for being my test audience and for letting me know how things were going. And I will see you guys on the gaming channel. I'll see you in more rants. I'll see you on my other shows. And don't worry, just follow my Twitter or watch me here, and I will let you know exactly what I'm going to do and when I'm going to do it and where it's going to be. So you guys will be able to keep up with me if you want to. And I will see you guys again in a couple of weeks, maybe 1 week, who knows. But either way, take care. Peace. I love every one of you fuzzbutts. Good night.